video level video game. 3 tips, 4 tips, 3 tips. Hi guys, hope you guys are doing great. And in today's video we're going to be talking about 5 transitions that you can do with your phone camera, your DSLR, a tomato, a potato, some carrots, some watermelon and cabbage as well. So apart from that, I will be giving you guys 3 bonus tips to help improve your video editing game in 2021 when it comes to creating these seamless transitions. So stay tuned. For our first transition, we're going to be dealing with panning. So what is a pan? You just gotta whack your camera. So what panning is basically a horizontal movement where you're basically in a fixed position and your camera say moves from either right to left or left to right. In this transition, you will basically have 2 clips which follow the same direction. That is, if your first clip takes a left to right movement, your second clip must also take a left to right movement, and you're gonna end up with something that looks like this. The second transition is called a whip pan transition, and this is super famous. You would be seeing this transition in many B-rolls. And what a whip pan is basically an extension of the pan transition, that you just hit the camera and then you whip after that. It's the extension of the pan transition where either the beginning or the end of the pan you whip your camera towards a particular direction. How the sequence is made is that, so the whip for the first clip, the way it ends should be how the second clip starts. So if you were to whip up, then from below you'll have to whip up for the second clip and then move in either the same direction or any direction that you choose to. So yeah, that is the whip pan transition. The third transition here is called the hide and reveal transition. You guys might have seen this a lot in the TikTok videos that are becoming famous of late, or the reels that you're seeing where say people are sneezing and then they open into a new location per se. So the idea behind the transition is to go very close to your subject. Your subject here can either be, say, the camera, so that you just close it like this, then open it to a different location. So yeah, so your first video has to be you going pretty close to the camera and covering it in a certain way. And the second part of it is you revealing the said new area or location that you wanna put out for the people to see. And that's all. It's pretty simple. So this you can do through the camera. You can take your camera and hide it behind a certain subject and then open it or reveal it like that from another subject. And yep, that's 1 or 2 ways to do the hide and reveal transition. So the fourth transition is going to be your shake transition. It's where you either in your first video you take a video of the scene and then you shake your camera, and subsequently in your second video you also shake the camera and then you go about showing a different environment, and you join them in your video editing software and you cut at the shake that happens to reveal the new location, and that is the shake transition. And the fifth or the last transition that we're going to be discussing is called the action transition, in which in both the videos you'll be doing the same action. These actions could be something like either clapping or like I don't know what this is called, I forgot. But doing this, right? And exactly while you do this in both the videos, you transition. So if you were to clap, you were here right now, and if I were to clap, I'd be somewhere else in another scene, and that is how you guys do the action transition. 3 bonus tips that I'm going to give you guys. Number 1 is with respect to the follow direction. While you're panning and whipping and stuff, the direction that the first clip ends in is the direction that the second clip should also follow it. We have to make sure this happens, or else the transitions look very jittery, very shaky, and they don't go along well. So if you were to pan from left to right, and in your second video if you were to pan from right to left, it'll give a very jarring sort of effect. The second tip that I'm going to give you guys is with respect to exposure levels. Whenever you're whipping or panning across into a scene or away from a scene, just ensure that in between, when clip 1 is joined with clip 2 for the transition, the exposure levels of the ending frames of them are similar. That is, if you were to pan up into the sky with a full blown out white sky, and in your second video if you were to bring the video back from the blown out sky to a particular scene, then it works well. But if you're whipping into a blown out sky and you're starting the second video from a completely dark place, like my shirt or something to black grayish towards that side, then the transition isn't going to go well. So tip number 3 is with respect to the subject that you're focusing with respect to this transition. The transition should enhance the storyline, and it should not be just for the sake of doing a transition. When it comes to shot composition, you should ensure that post your whipping or panning, your main subject should come into focus, and then you can pan out of it or whip out of it or hide it, or in whatever way you want to do the transition, right? So you should have the shot in mind, the main shot in mind. You can start from visualizing what you're going to shoot and then work backwards, so that you whip or pan to it and then come into the shot and then whip or pan out of it. These are 5 transitions that you could do with your camera, phone, tomato, potato, remote, watermelon and cabbage, as I said before. So yeah, feel free to share this with your friends, and like do tag me in whatever you guys create with these transitions, and yeah, well, have fun.